So I just wanted to take a moment here to capture something I came across today. Very good information for anybody that is like me, that has a sensitivity to bug bites, and especially ticks, and to a slightly lesser degree mosquitoes, which I know there are such things as mosquito-borne illness. But in this video, I'd like to look at tick-borne illness specifically, since those tend to have a heavier cost to our health if one were to contract the bacteria, I guess in this case, that causes the disease, Lyme disease, or they mention a few other ones. Anyway, awesome article. I highly recommend you check this out, specifically for those people that get the reactions, the skin reactions. I've got one right now that's just driving me bonkers. And it led me down this familiar path of researching, why is this happening? Why itch, right? I've been down a similar road with pain. Why the pain? It tends to always have a purpose, as much as it might not be ideal, and it puts us in a very uncomfortable position a lot of the times. These things have a purpose. They came about through evolution, right? And they must serve some purpose, right? So what I discovered today, the biggest discovery I'd like to share is down, and if you have the time, read this whole article on NIH. Right here is the most important bit. Okay, these observations suggest that residents of disease endemic sites, these observations being that they notice that people who get a lot of tick bites develop a cutaneous reaction to it, like almost like an allergy, where it's like a hypersensitivity reactions, cutaneous hypersensitivity reaction. That's what's going on with me, and sometimes it's delayed. So I got a tick on me, I think 2 or 3 days ago, and this time I didn't mess with it or anything, just took it out, noticed it almost right away. So it didn't really have a lot of time to backwash any saliva, but obviously there was enough there. Removed it right away, didn't try to rub it or over clean it, just a little peroxide, and that was it. And I was fine for the next day after, barely a reaction on my skin. But the moment I forgot the tick bite was there, and I went to scratch, thinking it was just an itch or mosquito bite or something. And as soon as I scratched it, it kick-started a reaction on my skin where it's like it got raw. It was seeping a little bit, and now it's getting like red and swollen and really freaking itchy. So that led me to research what's going on here. And I'll just read this to you here. So these observations suggest that residents of disease endemic sites who experience persistent tick-associated itch are less likely to develop Lyme disease than are those who do not experience this reaction. Itch was reported at the site of tick bite, and the frequency of itch increases as the number of reported tick bites increase, which strongly suggests that tick-associated itch is associated with an acquired cutaneous hypersensitivity response. Additional studies of other tick species also suggest that tick-associated itch is mediated by tick-specific antibody or cellular infiltration. People in our study who reported a single episode of tick-associated itch were more likely to acquire Lyme disease than those who did not report itch, probably because tick-associated itch is a marker of tick exposure, or for tick exposure. Here's an important part. In contrast, persons who had repeated tick-associated itch were protected from developing Lyme disease. There's that purpose, right? And it's not the itch necessarily, but the itch is representative of the reaction that's happening, the immuno response of the body, of the skin. We are confident, therefore, that the people in our study who described repeated episodes of tick-associated itching were experiencing cutaneous hypersensitivity, and that this immune reaction protected them from acquiring Lyme disease. How about that? The rest of this is also really interesting. Maybe I'll just read a few lines here and I'll let you delve into it further if you so choose. But the anti-tick immune response that protects people from acquiring Lyme disease might act through any of several effector mechanisms. A heightened awareness, right, obviously, by a person of an attached tick would result in a removal of potentially infecting tick before pathogen transmission could occur. So basically what they're saying there is that, if you have a sensitive skin, if you react to these things, you're more likely to notice them and then take them out sooner before that transmission can take place. Alternatively, immunity against tick salivary antigens might interfere with pathogen transmission independent of early host recognition and removal of ticks. Anti-tick immunity may specifically neutralize some components of tick saliva to ensure successful feeding and facilitate pathogen transmission, such as vasodilators, anticoagulants, and immunosuppressors. That's the thing, is the itch will drive you so crazy that you'll take a Benadryl or something, and I have done that just to get some relief, but I'm doing myself a disservice there. This is what it is to move from the allopathic medicine mindset into one now of Germanic or terrain theory, right? We got to look at these things from both sides for now, until we get over to the other side anyway. So it's changing the way you look at it. It's changing your relationship with things like itch and pain, discomfort, and inflammation. That's a big one. That's just the body trying to heal itself. And it's the same here. Yes, the itchiness is driving me bananas, but now I know that it's for a very important purpose. An array of anti-tick immune reactions may prevent Lyme disease and other tick-borne illnesses, diseases, whatever. So that's huge discovery, and it makes me feel a little bit better. Still itchy, didn't help with the itch, but now I know that the itch is actually a sign that my body is protecting me from Lyme disease and possibly other tick-borne diseases. So I found that very interesting, very fascinating. Let me know what you think. If you have any other information to add, of course, put that in the comments. And yeah, take care. Stay tick-free. The best medicine is still prevention. So wear long clothes, tuck them in. I'm working on an idea right now, a prototype. Don't steal my idea, YouTube. It's not a new idea. Basically, have a tick-proof get-up where overalls would work. But basically, you're sewing all of the articles of clothing together. So your socks are sewn to your pants are sewn to your shirt. Maybe to a hoodie. Have a hoodie on it, so that they can't get in. And it's really tight stitching so that the ticks couldn't get in even if they wanted to. The only thing is, you're going to have to slip in through the back. So it'll be like somebody will have to zip you up like you're putting on a gown. That's the only catch. But small price to pay to avoid ticks and Lyme disease and the itch. Anyway. Yeah, creepy crawlies. All right. I bid you adieu.